What's going on, y'all? Fabian Speaks, man. We are back with another video, man. And as you can tell by the title, I kind of mentioned this in my video yesterday. Go check that out. I'm dropping, man. I got the energy to drop, so I'm dropping as many videos as possible. So I have mentioned this briefly about being politically correct. And in the world we live today, that's the agenda. That's the norm. And God don't want you to be politically correct. And I'm going to go into a few reasons why and break that down, man. First and foremost, in today's world, being politically correct, like, hear me out. Being politically correct is being a yes man. It's going with the narrative. It's going with the flow. It's going with the majority, essentially, just to be a part of the flock, just to be a sheep. Sheep are followers. God hasn't called us to be followers, first and foremost. And if you know the narrative of the world is going down the drain, going down the toilet. The world is the devil's playground. The world is where a lot of manipulation, a lot of oppression, things like this occur, so that the enemy's plan can prevail. That's why this is going to be swept away, and we're going to be, cast up into heaven, go into the new world, essentially, and on into heaven, as the world ends, so to speak, and Christ has his return. So with that being said, God hasn't called us as children, right, as believers, as followers of Christ, to be politically correct. If you look at the account of Jesus, there's times to where he wasn't about being politically correct, right? And if anything, Jesus was apolitical. He didn't really try to get into the depth of politics. He didn't try to pick sides and point the finger. He was mainly about unity, and obviously the one purpose is about renewing your mind, walking in the Spirit, obviously believing in him as the Lord and Savior, right? And turning to God. So a lot of people try to do things through their actions back in the day. You know about the Pharisees, right? Thinking that you had to follow this agenda or this specific quota in order to appease the Lord or get into heaven. And Christ said it's about your heart. It's your heart posture. Like, where are you positioned internally? Because obviously God can see through the shenanigans and the antics, right? So with that being said, I want to mention this because in the world we live in, everybody's politically correct. And it's like, because nobody wants to get canceled. Nobody wants to have an HR case. You know what I mean? Oh, I said this at work. Oh, when you're in corporate, the 9-to-5 America, you know what I mean? And you're walking on eggshells, essentially, because you have to appease everyone around you, whether it's your associates, your boss, your team lead, your manager, whatever it may be, or it could be an HR case, right? And you could potentially lose your job. We've seen a lot of entertainers get canceled because they're not going with the LGBTQ agenda. People are actually standing up for their faith. And that's the whole reason why I'm making this video, is that you have to be proud of who you are, what you believe in, and who Christ has called you to be. First and foremost, we're not called to be silent and quiet. We're not called to just go with the flow just to appease people, because who are people but individuals that the Lord our God created, right? So, God created us all. You know what I mean? Obviously, he knows his sheep, he knows his people, but God knows each and every person that exists on this planet Earth. So with that being said, too many people are just following the narrative. Nowadays, it's all about acceptance and love should be everything. You see a lot of these pride rallies and things of that sort, and you see a lot of people that go there to minister, right? They get attacked. If y'all are about love, why are y'all attacking people who are preaching the gospel, right? That's not true love. They're trying to appease something internal and validate it through the world, essentially. Oh, it's love. We can love. God says everything about love, right? No, they're trying to twist the word. Now, there's rarities in which Jesus turned up, but Jesus would turn up for injustice, things that were wrong, especially, the story of when he's beginning his ministry in his younger days, right? Where he was in the temple and there was gambling and things of that sort. A lot of things that weren't supposed to be going on. He got angry about it, right? Because it was kind of like a how dare you, how the audacity to do this in the Lord's house, right? So that's the rare occasions where it's documented and we see Jesus turn up, but it's for a good cause, it's for injustice. And that's how believers should be in the same light. You should stand your ground, hold your two, turn up when you see wrong occurring, and actually have a voice and speak out against it, instead of, how many cases there are people who are bystanders, don't say anything. Let's speak to the woman who was the Ukrainian refugee who got killed in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. She got stabbed on the bus or the subway or something like that. She left her home country. She's a refugee thinking she's coming to America to find a safer living, and she dies. She dies at the hands of an insane individual who they're trying to say is mentally unstable. But I mean, if you look at his track record, he's a continuous, a repeat offender. Man, this guy had crimes left and right, locked up left and right. At that point in time, what are we doing as the legal system? What are we doing as, law enforcement, the judicial system to take care of individuals who are repeat offenders on the street? That's just a portion of being able to hold oneself accountable and just understand the playing field. But I'm not going to segue too far left on that. But to that main story, there's video footage of 3 individuals watching this woman get attacked. Now, one is a man. One is a female, a woman. So I wouldn't expect, women are going to naturally be scared, right? So I'm not going to expect a woman to jump in. But there was 2 men who sat by idly and did nothing. It's one thing if you're afraid. That's it, right? Maybe you're just scared. But I don't think it was even about that. People were in their phones. They weren't even paying attention to their surroundings. And once the attack happened, they didn't budge. There's an individual within the frame of that video who was behind the attacker. Obviously, it's always push come to shove. What would you do in this situation? People like to speak heavily on what they would do when they weren't ever in a situation. And it's different when you're actually put in a position. What will you do? But man, if I was the dude at the back, at least I would have hopped up, because just from the peripheral, the attacker couldn't see you. You could have ran up behind him, snatched him up, you know what I mean, and held him, pinned him to the ground until the police came. But no, they watched this lady get repeatedly stabbed. It's just sickening to me, disgusting to me, because we live in a day and age today, aside from being scared, all that yada, 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 people would rather protect themselves. People aren't going to sacrifice themselves. They're not willing to step out there for other individuals, which shows the selfishness, the day and age of selfishness we live in. I'm not telling you to jump off a cliff. I'm not telling you to risk all end all be all, but use some sense, use some logic. And if there's somebody who's in a position to where they're being oppressed, they're being attacked, they're being hated on, do something about it, especially if you have the heart to. Some people are just cold. They don't care. But there's people who have the heart to, and they still stay silent and quiet. They have the conviction to, they still don't do anything about it. We are in a day and age where everybody need to wake up. You got to be able to, those who love their life will lose it. You know what I'm saying? If you're in love with the world and, oh man, I love this and that, and oh, it's all about me, you're going to lose it anyway. God sees it all. It's despicable, man. It's pitiful to see the day and age we live in, to where people are literally just so selfish in their own zone, on their phones. But that's the reason why I made this video, to not be politically correct. That's politically correct. Oh, well, I was in fear for my life. What could have happened? No, man. I think we're at the point in time to where people are willing to make sacrifices and think beyond themselves and do for others. That's the day and age. That's the extremity that you need to be in your faith. Christ called us to do it. So how can I sit here and just be lackadaisical and laid back and, oh, you I could not, man. I would just have so much on my heart if I was a witness, to a bystander, and I saw something like that. And I just didn't do anything. So comment down below, man. Let me know y'all's thoughts. I'm advising y'all, don't be politically correct in a day and age to where everything people are so agreeable on is pure evil. Oh, we need to have transsexuals at 12. We need to encourage kids to be multiple genders. That's pure enemy work. That's devil work. How are you going to encourage 11, 12-year-old to change their gender? How are you going to introduce homosexuality to kids? That is the plot of the enemy. But, oh, it's safe, it's loving, we have to be inclusive. Nah. That's why I hate the world. Because the world is so twisted and misconstrued that they're willing to say and do anything just to appease other people's egos or appease what they think is the greater good. Oh, it's all about love. No. You're twisting everything about it. There's nothing genuine about introducing a child to these things. Wickedness at its finest, man. So you got to be able to stand out. You got to be able to have a voice. You got to be able to speak up. If you're not speaking up, who is? That's what we are called for. We are the light on the hill. Don't let your light get snuffed out because you want to be a yes man. We'll catch y'all in the next video, man. Peace, love.